how to handle I'll think about it. So, this is the second episode of Sell Anything Anywhere. Thank you so much for everyone's support so far. But in this episode, we're going to be covering off, some of the most common mistakes salespeople make, whether you're on the shop floor or telesales or whether you're on, like I said before, social media. But the most common thing when trying to sell a customer something is the dreaded kind of, I need to think about it, or I'll have a think about it. And a lot of salespeople absolutely just fall by the wayside because they think that is a real objection. And it's not. If a customer's saying to you, I need to think about it, then to me, that's them wanting to know more information about what you're trying to sell them. What service are you offering them? What value is it of that customer's? And why should they buy from you? So don't take it as a real objection. It's not. When a customer used to come to me or ask questions, and I was, assumptuous enough to think that this guy or person's going to buy from me, and they was like, well, I need to think about it. I go in for the close sometimes too early, but when they say, Matt, I need to think about it. But I think what the real issue is there is you need to probably dig a little bit deeper and understand, what is it you need to think about? Why can't you make a decision today? Do you need to think about the price? Do you need to think about what the other half will say? Do you need to think about what the weather's going to be doing that day? Anything like that, you've got to hit head on. So do a little bit more digging, but don't give up. Because if I had a pound for how many times people said to me, I need to go and think about it, I won't have to work. I won't have to show up to my day job anymore. But the biggest mistake salespeople make, and I've fell victim to this before, is they accept it. When a customer says, I'll think about it, or, I'll let you know, the salesperson gives up and they just accept that is a solid reason when it's not. So don't get disheartened. You just got to work a little bit smarter, a little bit harder to get that close. And this works on the shop floor. It works face to face. It works on the phones. It works sometimes on social media. But what I used to do was I used to treat that customer like royalty, but I also used to, I don't know how I did this, but I got them to like me. And once somebody likes you and they see, that value in you, they start to open up a bit more and trust you. And that's where you build the foundation for that sale. From meeting somebody that you've never seen before, that you've never met, that doesn't know you, you don't know them, in a space of an hour to turn that round on a sale, you've sold them something and you've sold them extra crossover sales, which we'll cover off in other episodes. But to say you can do that, it does take practice and it takes skill. But if you're new to this, don't let that worry, because you'll learn this as we go through the podcasts. So just stay calm, stay positive, be assertive, answer all questions. And if you don't know the answer, remember what we said last week, go and find the answer and bring it back to the customer. We only learn through finding things out and educating ourselves. And then next time it comes along, you're prepared. But slow everything right down. If you're with a customer, they're saying, look, I'm not interested at this moment in time. I need to go and think about it. Normally, 9 times out of 10, I tell you now, it's the price. A lot of people, they're so proud. When I used to meet them on shop floor, customers used to walk into the showroom and there was like, no, it's not price. But I knew 100% it's all about the price of something. You imagine going out somewhere and, you want to buy something for yourself and you've been looking and you've been researching online and you go out to a store to look at it, touch it, feel it, see what it's like. You're going to haggle on price. You're going to haggle because you've earned that money. And before you spend your hard-earned money, you're going to want a good deal or at least feel like you've been looked after. So a lot of customers, for me, when they say I'll think about it, it means it's the price. But slow things down. I used to go and get them a drink. I used to, get them to sit down, get them to relax, unwind a little bit, open up a bit more, strike up a conversation about anything but what you're trying to sell them. That's always a good tip. Don't go straight in for the kill. Slow it down. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. But digging into the real issue, try and you've got to really kind of be quick on this. You got to read body language. You've got to, see how they're reacting to questions. Are they opening up? Are they having good conversation with you? Is it one word answer? Don't ask too many closed questions, because a closed question is just a nail in the coffin when you're trying to sell. So you want to be digging down to the truth and finding out what it is. And, if you're in a position or an industry where you probably can offer a little bit of a deal, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, then utilize that. But you've got to qualify your customer. And time again, I used to sit with my customers and say, look, if I can, will you? It's a two-way street. If I'm going to provide you with all these products that you want, are you going to purchase today? But that would come later on in the conversation. It wouldn't be in the first 5-10 minutes or even 20 minutes of me speaking to them, because you don't rush things. And depending on how big the ticket value is of what you're selling as well, because customers will, in the industry I was in, they used to look at several items before making a decision, if they made a decision on that day. And I was paid to make the minds up for them. I was paid to get them to part with the money on that day to purchase something. I was targeted on KPIs as well, key performance indicators, where we had to sell crossover insurance and warranties and extras. And we'll cover the cross-selling part off in other episodes. But for me, when you get used to hearing I'll think about it so many times, it's just another objection that you've got to overcome. And the ones that pick it up quickly, the sales guys that learn fast and the sales guys that do have an answer for everything, are the ones that will be successful. Because the more you can convert customers that come in to see you, or when you're speaking to them on the phone, the more money you're going to make. And, we're all here to make money, right? I am, and I hope you are. So don't feel disheartened when a customer comes to you and says, look, I want to think about it. Because they're kind of asking for more help without saying they want more help. And some of the conversations, crikey, I used to sit with a customer 1-2 hours. But I knew the ticket value was massive. And it would be the target that I was set. I knew that if I could get the customer on the right product, so I've asked them questions, I've asked them what they're after, I've listened. And then whilst they're talking to me, I'm thinking in my head, where can I take them next? What product can I go and take them to, which I know they will like because I've listened to them? And that's where you're showing the value. And once the customer sees that, they'll trust you. And also having that general conversation, that natural conversation with them of, well, I've got something in mind for you. I'm going to take you to this. That's the value that you're adding to that conversation. And trust will open up. Many times I've had customers walk on me. I've had customers not buy from me on the day, but because of the service I provided on the day, they've come back and asked for me. Or they've come back, or they've rang before they turned up and said, look, are you there, Matt? I'm going to come down and see you. Which is great because I knew that I did my job correctly. Yeah, I couldn't strut across the sale room floor saying I got this sale today, but they do come, some of them do come back. Some of them don't, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's just being in the profession of selling. Be hungry as well, okay? Be hungry and be humble. You're there to serve somebody. Try and find what the best match is for them. That's what I was very good at doing. I was great at breaking down the customer to gain trust. I was asking great questions. I was listening to the answers that they was providing me. And then I was showing them something that suited their requirements. And sometimes I'd be sat with them for an hour or two. But I knew the way the flow of the conversation was going, that, nine times out of 10, we was going to close the deal and we was going to do the sale. And doing it that way, slowing everything down, taking your time, gave me a pay increase. It upped my salary, upped my wage. So they're the key points to take away from this episode. Don't worry if your customer's saying they're going to think about it. You'll hear it 1,000 times in a month. You'll experience it. No one's immune to it. And you've got to think, if that was you walking into a showroom or receiving a call, how would you react? Someone talking to you that you've never met before, trying to make you spend your hard-earned money. So you've got to look at it from their angle. And, treat them with respect. They might be rude to you, doesn't matter. If they're rude to you, they're rude to you. Get over it. Some will be overly nice. But, look, they're there for a reason. They're stopped and they're spoken to you for a reason. And the reason is they're in the market. It's your job to take them out of the market before somebody else does. It's your job to treat them like royalty. Bend over backwards for them. That's your job. Because if they don't buy from you, they'll go and buy from someone else. And guess what? That person they go and see, or even worse, the person before they come to see you, did they go the extra mile? Did they bend over backwards? Did they share everything with them that possibly could be shared to get that sale? And you'll find that if you're doing and providing that service for a customer, they'll openly say, we've been to this place, we've been to that place, and we never got service as good as this. So it does pay dividends, guys, to keep positive, slow things down, and enjoy it. Don't worry about objection handling. We'll cover that off in other podcasts, in future podcasts. Don't worry about future objectives. Just show up, be confident, speak to your customer like you would be speaking to somebody you bumped into in the street that you've not seen for a while. That's probably the best advice I can give you. So if you are quite nervous at selling, treat a customer like someone you just bumped into down the street that you've not seen for a few years, who you can have a nice flowing conversation with. Do not ask closed questions. Have you been here before, sir? Have you been here before, madam? What they're going to say? Yes or no. It's a conversation killer. You want to be asking open-ended questions. How's your day? What have you been up to today? Have you been out somewhere with the family? What type of thing are you looking for? What colours are you after? Which room is it going to go in? Are you decorating? And then that will lead you into a natural flowing conversation and your customer will open up with you. It will happen. So I want to thank everyone for your support. Thank you for joining on this podcast. Please don't forget you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now. And we will be back next week with episode 3. Thank you so much. Take care.